earlier in the week, I got, as part of the dedication of Orchard and Panama Street, I got from the Xerox's attorney the title commitment, because they were gonna, part of the deal was they're gonna purchase title insurance for the roadways for the village, and, but I just want to clarify that is the intention of this board not to take dedication until the environmental easement, the DEC has an environmental easement on the entire Xerox property that restricts any development, well, prohibits any residential development on any of their property. So they're trying to get that released, at least as far as the West Campus, you know, the Orchard and Panama and Phillips surround. So does the board not want to take dedication until that happens?
Is Xerox looking to petition?
They're in the process of doing it. I don't know where in the process they are, but they.
Can we find out?
It would be my recommendation not to take dedication until it's been released. Because if they can only develop it for industrial uses, is it really ever going to get redeveloped?
Yeah.
And then why would, and if it doesn't get redeveloped, why does the village want to take dedication of those roads?
That's
Yeah.
what I thought
I
exactly.
completely agree.
Right,
Yep.
agree.
So he did say, ideally, the environmental easement would be released to the road, you know, prior to dedication of the roadways. I don't know what he means by ideally, but, so I guess that leaves some room that maybe they're gonna see if the village will take it before it gets released. But I think we should hold out, frankly, to provide Xerox with some incentive to get it released.
Agree.
You know, otherwise,
Yeah.
you
No,
take
we'll be
dedication
sitting on
and.
Yeah, no.
Right,
And
and then
now-
it takes,
Right, and now they don't
the
have any.
reason why we are taking it is to open up, hopefully, that area for development,
Redevelopment.
I think.
But for a, you know,
Right,
industrial, commercial, and residential uses.
Exactly.
Okay.
Agreed.
And the other thing, generally, title insurance, the amount of insurance is based on the value of the land and buildings upon which it's being insured. Xerox put it at $35,000, so I asked Matt, well, where'd you come up with $35,000? And his response was, that was the most efficient value, or something like that Chicago Title Insurance Company offered Xerox. At $35,000, the premium's only $288 that Xerox would be paying. But I would guess that the roadways are worth more than $35,000. I have no clue what they're worth. But he did say, hey, if you have another number, you know, let us know, and he'll go back to the Xerox business people to see what, you know, in that, the agreement that the village and the town and Xerox entered into about the roadways, it did provide that they were gonna provide title insurance, but we didn't put an amount in there. So they came up with the $35,000 by themselves. So, which would mean, if there were ever some issue with the title to the roadways, the most that the village could collect from the insurance would be $35,000, even though your damages could be a lot more than that.
Jake, have you
So-
had experience? I have not, in terms of, you know, having a road, whatever, put in, into public, and had this where there's a title insurance that goes along with it?
Most recent ones I can think of, in fact, it's probably speak to this, is the Pride Mark, the Greenbrier Crossing, where we had Autumn Leaf Trail, took dedication a couple of years ago. I don't recall
They didn't provide us with title insurance.
there's a maintenance bond on because they're brand new roads, there's a maintenance bond on the roads, but not the title insurance. Now, there's a title insurance on the improvements as well as the underlying land?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's if there were an issue as far as someone claiming title adverse to the village, or a problem with one of the easements or something that would interfere with the public use of the roadways, and it has nothing to do with the cost of maintaining the roads. So I don't know. I just was curious as to where they came up with $35,000, and I think they just plucked that out of the blue so that their premium was only $288.
Yeah, so it sounds like.
But, you know, I don't know how many acres the roadways are. If you were to try to buy it, I doubt Xerox would want to sell it to somebody for $35,000. But,
You'd have to see how many, I mean, it's, they right away by, I forgot how many feet on Orchard Street. I'd have to look it up, and you could measure it for certainly and figure it out quick.
Now, Don, this is seemingly it's just a one time.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
it covers on
As long as the village owns the roads, it goes forever. You know, it's not that big a deal, you know, in the title commitment. See, I didn't have the benefit of looking at an abstract of title to see where Xerox acquired title, but they basically got title to all their land in 3 different deeds. I forget the name of the families back in the 50s where they bought most of it. There is a deed in the early 60s from the village to Xerox. But I didn't look up those, you know, I didn't look up the history because they didn't give me an abstract. That's probably why they're willing to spend $280,000 to give the title insurance. Because if there is a problem, then, you know, the title insurance at least up to $35,000, they'll deal with it. But the only real issue is that environmental easement. Because there's a site management plan, which I don't know if you've ever seen, Jake, have you ever seen it? It's what Xerox imposed on Xerox, and it's incorporated into all the restrictions in the site management plan are incorporated into the easement. I haven't seen it, this site management plan, so I'm not exactly sure what all the restrictions are, but if they release that portion of Xerox's property from it, that's not an issue.
Right.
I'm not exactly sure why the DEC, it was kind of a little bit of overkill on the DEC's part, because most of the environmental problems were more towards Salt Road than over by, than over by,
With all the timber plants.
than over by Phillips Road, but still they put this environmental easement on all of Xerox's land.
And I don't understand that at all.
I would agree, then
Yeah.
maybe that we wait.
All right, well, I'll let them know that. But,
I think we're still waiting on,
yeah.
waiting on
They gave us that.
moving forward in terms of Mitchell Beans, because
I think it's got-
right now, there's still a gap in terms of the money needed
Yes.
to move forward with that, taking Mitchell Bean and running it until some entity comes up other than the village in terms of providing that. That's kind of holding up. Because it's really not to our benefit.
They want it as low as possible because they're paying the premium.
Okay, so we will wait on that, Don, and let them know.